The day they came. The sky above Earth was quiet, calm and blue. Then, without warning, a strange vibration echoed across the planet. People in every country looked up and froze. At first, they thought it was thunder, but the sound kept growing louder, deeper, sharper. Clouds twisted into spirals as the air shimmered with strange lights. Then the first ship appeared, massive, black, and alive with energy. It blocked out the sun for miles. Governments around the world scrambled to respond. Fighter jets were launched. Warnings were issued, but nothing made sense. Every communication satellite went silent. The alien fleet arrived above every major city. Thousands of ships hung in the sky like blades waiting to fall. The invaders called themselves the Fourth Dominion. They spoke through every speaker, every screen, every device on Earth. Their message was short and cold. Earth is now under Fourth control. Surrender your resources or be erased. The people panicked. Some prayed, some screamed, some recorded the sky on their phones. But deep under the Atlantic Ocean, a secret base came alive. Its name was Project Aegis, hidden for decades. It was humanity's last defense. Inside, officers and scientists worked in silence. They had trained for a moment the world hoped would never come. One man stood at the command deck, Admiral Kane. His voice was calm, but his eyes were filled with steel. "Activate the fail-safes," he said. "All of them." The ground above shook as alien ships began firing. Cities burned, buildings fell, the sky turned red, but something strange happened. Their energy beams stopped mid-air. It was as if invisible shields had covered the cities. The aliens were confused, their weapons malfunctioned. They did not know humanity had technology far beyond what anyone believed. They thought Earth was primitive, weak, easy to control. They were wrong. Admiral Kane looked at the giant screens, showing the alien ships hovering across the globe. "Do we have visual on their command vessel?" he asked. "Yes, sir," replied the operator. "It's in orbit over the Pacific." Kane's eyes narrowed. "Send the signal," he ordered. In that moment, deep within Earth's crust, ancient machines awakened. Titan-class defense satellites rose from hidden silos. Massive railguns emerged from the oceans, and stealth fleets began to uncloak. One by one, on board the alien flagship, the Fourth Commander watched with amusement. He thought humans were simply resisting out of fear. To him, this invasion was only a small test of power. He turned to his second officer and smiled. "Primitive creatures always fight before extinction," he said. But then his smile faded, his sensors began flashing red. "Unknown energy readings detected," the officer reported. "What kind of readings?" The commander demanded. "Something we have never seen before." Suddenly, the sky above the Pacific Ocean exploded in light. Hundreds of human warships emerged from clouds and waves. They were black, angular, and terrifying. Each ship carried symbols the aliens didn't recognize. Human flags. The Fourth Commander's amusement turned into disbelief. How did they hide this from us?" he whispered. Then his sensors went dead. Every alien ship around Earth lost control for a few seconds. In those seconds, humanity struck back. The world watched as streaks of blue energy cut through the clouds. Alien ships fell from the sky like burning comets. Explosions echoed across continents. Human pilots cheered through broken radio channels. The resistance had begun in every hidden bunker, in every dark base. Humanity fought back with precision and fury. The invaders had come expecting slaves. Instead, they found predators. Admiral Kane stood silent as the battle reports came in. "Sir, alien fleets are retreating from the lower atmosphere," his officer said. Kane nodded slowly. "They thought invading Earth would be easy," he said quietly. "Now they'll learn what fear truly means." Far above, on the alien command ship, the Fourth Commander stared at the burning planet below. His invasion plan was collapsing. Thousands of his ships were destroyed within minutes. He turned toward the main screen showing the Earth's surface. He could see flashes of light from human counterattacks, organized. Powerful, relentless, he clenched his claws, his pride turning into rage. "This is not possible," he hissed. "These humans were supposed to be weak." But deep inside, he felt something he had not felt in centuries. Fear. Earth was not what their intelligence claimed. Something ancient, something hidden was protecting it. And somewhere in the darkness of space, human fleets were moving. They were silent, fast, and merciless. The first invasion had failed, but the war had only just begun. The galaxy had made its first mistake. It had touched Earth, and now humanity was awake. The hidden arsenal, the morning after the first assault. The skies above Earth were still burning. Cities were in ruins, communication lines were broken, and millions were missing, but in the silence, humanity was not defeated. It was calculating beneath the oceans, deep under mountains, inside forgotten deserts. Hidden bunkers came alive, engines roared to life, metal groaned, and ancient systems hummed as power returned after decades of sleep. Project Aegis had begun its second phase, the hidden arsenal. Admiral Kane stood before a holographic map, showing hundreds of red dots across the planet. Each dot represented an alien landing site. He clenched his fists, his voice steady but cold. "They thought we were done," he said. "Now it's our turn." Operators moved quickly, entering codes, linking bases, unlocking old weapons stored since the First Galactic War. The world never knew such a war had happened. History books had erased it, governments had hidden it, but humanity had fought the stars before and survived. The Fourth Dominion still believed Earth's resistance was a lucky strike. They had regrouped in low orbit, forming massive attack lines. Their commander, furious and humiliated, demanded another offensive. He ordered his fleet to bombard the planet until nothing remained. But the moment their cannons charged, strange interference hit their systems. Navigation failed. Targeting computers went blind. Power grids collapsed, the alien commander shouted. "Why are our weapons dead?" His engineers replied, trembling. "It's coming from the planet, sir." On Earth, the answer was simple. Humanity had released pulse-wave defense satellites, machines designed to scramble enemy tech. A web of invisible energy surrounded the planet. Alien drones crashed, missiles detonated mid-air, and ships drifted helplessly. Admiral Kane watched through satellite feeds and whispered. Now, across the globe, hidden silos opened, revealing the first Titan-class railguns, each weapon the size of a skyscraper, each capable of piercing a starship's armor. The order came through the radio. "Fire all batteries!" The ground shook as thunder filled the air. Bolts of blue light shot upward, splitting clouds and striking alien ships like divine lightning. Within minutes, dozens of enemy vessels disintegrated. Human pilots cheered from underground hangars as explosions lit the horizon. One pilot, Lieutenant Mara Quinn, took control of her stealth fighter. Her ship, the Valkyrie 9, was equipped with experimental engines. She launched from a hidden airbase beneath the Andes Mountains. Her mission, reach orbit and disable the alien flagship's shield array. As she rose through the atmosphere, debris and plasma storms filled the sky. Alien interceptors swarmed toward her, but her fighter vanished from their sensors. "Cloak stable," her AI confirmed. "No detection," Mara smiled and whispered. "Let's make them bleed." She weaved through enemy formations, invisible and silent. Above her, human warships began to rise from the ocean. Massive, black vessels shaped like predators. The Leviathan fleet had awakened. These ships had been built in secret for over a century, their existence known only to a few world leaders and one man, Admiral Kane, on board the Vorth command ship. Alarms screamed again. "Sir, new contacts detected, dozens, maybe hundreds," the officer cried. "From where?" the commander shouted. "From under the oceans," came the reply. The commander's face turned pale. How could they hide fleets that large? But before he could react, the Leviathan fleet opened fire. Their weapons were different. Magnetic pulse cannons and graviton lances. Each shot tore through alien shields like paper. The commander watched in horror as his ships exploded one by one. Meanwhile, Mara reached the flagship's core. Her stealth field flickered, but she had seconds left. She fired a pulse missile directly into the command shield node. The explosion cracked the alien vessel's armor open. "Target neutralized," her AI said calmly. Mara exhaled and turned her ship downward. She looked at the burning sky and whispered, "For Earth." Then her engines roared as she dove back through the clouds. In the Atlantic Command Center, Admiral Kane received the signal. "The shield is down, sir." He nodded, his face grim but satisfied. "Send the message," he said moments later. A global broadcast went out to every human and every alien still watching. A single voice echoed across the stars. "This is Admiral Kane of Earth Defense Command. You came here thinking we were weak, that we would kneel. You were wrong. Earth does not surrender." The message spread faster than light, reaching alien networks across the galaxy. Some laughed, others were afraid. But one thing was certain. The Fourth Dominion had underestimated humanity, and now the galaxy was watching. The commander of the Fourth Fleet stared at the burning Earth and clenched his claws. He realized the truth too late. This was not a conquest. This was a war he could not win. The part ends with a silent moment in the command room. A faint vibration echoed through the floor as the next wave of human ships rose from the oceans, each one larger, darker, and more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. Humanity's hidden arsenal was awake, and for the first time the Vorth understood true fear. The fall of pride, the battle for Earth had changed. What began as an invasion had turned into chaos for the Vorth dominion. Their once mighty fleets were now burning across the sky. Wreckage rained over continents, glowing red like falling stars. The humans were winning, and doing it with terrifying precision. Inside the alien command vessel, Commander Xylan stood frozen before his control screens. Every second, another red mark appeared on his map. Each one meant a destroyed ship. Impossible, he whispered. They were not supposed to have this kind of power. His officers avoided his gaze. Afraid to speak, Xylan slammed his clawed fist onto the console. Send another wave, he roared. They cannot outlast us, but far below, Admiral Kane watched from the Earth Command Center. He had heard the same arrogance in the transmissions. They still believe this is a battle of numbers, he said quietly. His aide nodded. They have not yet realized, sir, that they're already surrounded, Kane smiled faintly, a hard, cold smile. Then let's show them. The holographic map in front of him shifted. Dozens of hidden human fleets appeared in orbit behind the alien lines. They had been waiting in silence, masked by gravity fields and cloaking systems. These were the Nemesis fleets, humanity's most secret creation. Designed for deep space warfare, silent and invisible. Nemesis Command, Kane said into the transmitter. Execute Protocol Black Sun, a voice replied. Calm and steady. Acknowledged, sir. Black Sun commencing. Moments later, a strange light rippled across space. The human ships fired something the aliens had never seen before. Waves of blue plasma expanded like storms, devouring enemy shields. The Vorth fleet convulsed in confusion as their systems melted under invisible energy. Sir, we're losing control, screamed one alien officer. Our power cores are destabilizing. Commander Xylan looked out through the bridge window. His eyes widened as entire cruisers tore apart from the inside. He whispered, What kind of monsters are they? Back on Earth, the world watched from underground shelters, citizens huddled near emergency screens, seeing flashes of light in the distant sky. Some cried, others cheered. For the first time, humanity felt something beyond fear. Unity. All nations had fallen under one command, one defense, one will to survive. Admiral Kane looked at the burning horizon and said softly, We were divided for centuries, but nothing unites humans faster than a threat to home. In orbit, Lieutenant Mara Quinn and her squadron re-entered the fight. Their stealth fighters darted through wreckage, hunting the survivors. Target those who are fleeing, she ordered. Her eyes were sharp, her voice steady. They had become predators in their own sky. Each human ship moved like a shadow, precise and silent. Every attack was surgical, no wasted fire, no hesitation. Mara's wingmen laughed through the comm. Guess they're learning what happens when you wake a death world. Meanwhile, Commander Xylan sent a desperate transmission to the Dominion capital. This is Fleet Command, he shouted. We underestimated the humans, requesting full reinforcement, but the signal barely left his ship. The human pulse-wave network scrambled every outgoing message. Earth had sealed the system completely. They were trapped in panic. Xylan ordered a final attack. All ships, focus fire on their main fleet. Burn through their defenses. Thousands of alien weapons ignited at once. Space itself seemed to flash white with heat. But when the smoke cleared, humanity still stood. Their ships absorbed the blasts with shimmering energy shields. Kane's engineers had called them quantum veils. Technology so advanced that even the Dominion could not comprehend it. The Nemesis fleet answered with vengeance. Their main cannons fired beams of pure light, slicing through enemy formations. One by one, alien ships exploded, their fragments glowing like dying suns. Mara watched as the largest alien dreadnought was hit. Its reactor overloaded, bursting into a silent bloom of fire. She whispered through the comm, Another one down. Inside the alien flagship, smoke filled the corridors. Xylan stumbled toward the escape bay. His pride was gone, his power shattered. He looked back at the burning control deck and muttered. They were supposed to kneel, not fight like gods. But before he could escape, A massive explosion tore through the ship. The blast illuminated the black of space. And the mighty Vorth Dominion fleet, once feared across hundreds of worlds, was gone. In the command center beneath the Atlantic, silence filled the room. Then applause erupted. Cheers, shouts, tears. Admiral Kane raised his hand and said quietly, "Save your celebration. This is not victory yet." He pointed to the galactic map on the screen. "Because now the galaxy knows what we can do," high above the planet. The wreckage of the alien fleet drifted in orbit. Hundreds of burning fragments circled the blue world below. To the galaxy, it was a message written in fire. Earth was not prey. The fall of the Vorth Dominion was not just defeat. It was humiliation, and in every alien council, in every empire watching the broadcasts, one question spread like wildfire. If Earth could destroy the Vorth, they whispered, what else are they hiding? Far in the dark beyond the solar system, other empires began to move. Scouts vanished. Transmissions went silent. Rumors spread. The humans had changed everything. And deep inside Project Aegis, Admiral Kane received a coded alert. It was a transmission from an old human colony long thought lost. 2 words appeared on his screen. "They're coming." He stared at it for a long moment, then turned to his officers and said quietly, "Prepare the Dark Fleet." Because the fall of Pride was not the end, it was the beginning of a greater storm. The galaxy had awakened humanity's wrath, and there would be no turning back. The galaxy responds. The destruction of the Vorth Dominion fleet echoed across the galaxy like a thunderclap. What was once a proud empire, feared by dozens of species, was now nothing more than ash above a blue planet. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy realized something terrifying. Humans had returned to the stars. In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, thousands of alien delegates shouted and argued. News feeds displayed the burning remains of the Vorth fleet. Some demanded investigation, others called for war. But all of them whispered the same question. How did the humans do this? A reptilian ambassador from the Drakari hissed. The humans were isolated, their planet was marked forbidden. No contact for centuries. A tall avian representative replied sharply. Then how did they build weapons strong enough to erase the Dominion? The chamber fell silent. Because no one had the answer. Far away in a cold system near the galactic rim, the remnants of the Vorth survivors drifted through space. Their ships crippled, their communications broken. They sent one final distress call, but the message carried something more than a plea. It contained footage, the moment humanity struck, the weapons they used, the words Admiral Kane spoke. Earth does not surrender. That message spread across every trade route, every pirate relay, every secret network. Even the hidden empires that lived in the shadows watched in silence. The legend of the Death Worlders was no longer myth, it was real. Humanity had proven it on Earth. Admiral Kane stood before a massive holographic projection of the galaxy. Dots of light represented alien fleets moving, gathering, preparing. His chief of intelligence, Dr. Lyra Hayes, entered the command room. "Sir, transmissions are coming from the outer sectors," she said. "They're panicking. Some want to make peace. Others want to strike first before we grow stronger." Kane folded his hands behind his back and stared at the map. "Of course they do," he said. "Fear is the only language the galaxy understands." In the shadows of the Atlantic Command Center, technicians worked day and night. Humanity's defenses were being transformed into something greater. The Dark Fleet was almost ready, a fleet so secret that even most commanders didn't know it existed. Its ships were built from materials unknown to the galaxy, cloaked in light-bending armor. Each one was a ghost in the void, unseen until it fired. Meanwhile, on the Vorth homeworld, chaos ruled. Their emperor screamed in rage as reports came in from the front lines. Entire sectors were revolting, refusing to follow a leader who had lost to primitive humans. Their empire was collapsing faster than anyone imagined, and in the ruins of their command, one Vorth officer sent a single encrypted message to the council. His words were simple. Humanity is not to be fought, they are to be avoided. Across the galaxy, smaller civilizations debated what to do. Some saw opportunity, thinking humanity could become a new ally. Others feared extinction, believing humans would conquer them next. One race, the Taral Collective, sent an ambassador to Earth, but their ship never returned. It vanished near Jupiter, leaving behind only fragments of metal and a silent distress beacon. The message it carried never reached its destination. In orbit around Earth, massive construction stations floated like moons. They were building something enormous, an arc-sized warship called UN's Leviathan Prime. It would be the flagship of the Dark Fleet. Admiral Kane watched as its black hull reflected the light of the sun. "The galaxy is moving, sir," said Captain Mara Quinn, now promoted and standing beside him. Kane nodded slowly, then let them move, he said. The faster they move, the faster they reveal themselves. Far from Earth, deep within the core of the galaxy, a secret empire stirred. The Stellar Ascendancy. They had ruled in silence for ages, manipulating other empires like puppets now. They watched humanity's rise with cold curiosity. Their leader, a being made of light and shadow, whispered to his council, "They have awoken too soon." "Should we intervene?" asked one of his lieutenants. The being shook his head. "Not yet. Let them show us what they truly are." Back on Earth, the people rebuilt. The cities once destroyed were now covered in shimmering energy domes. New industries rose overnight, old divisions disappeared. Humanity was united like never before. Children grew up watching the stars, not with fear, but with pride. They knew their world had become the center of galactic attention. And though the rest of the galaxy trembled, humans smiled. One night, as Admiral Kane stood on the observation deck, he received a private transmission. It was from a human colony long thought lost. The message played in broken static. "This is Outpost Vega 9. We've made contact with something huge. It's not Vorth. It's coming your way." Then silence. Kane turned to Mara, his face unreadable. "Get the fleet ready," he said quietly. "Another storm is coming." Above them, the Dark Fleet's engines began to hum. Their hulls shimmered, disappearing into the blackness of space. The stars reflected on their armor like ghosts of forgotten wars. In every corner of the galaxy, watchers felt it, a quiet dread. The humans were preparing again, and somewhere beyond the edge of known space, a new armada was forming. It was larger than the Vorth, older than any recorded empire, and they were heading straight for Earth. The galaxy watched and whispered in fear. "The humans are dangerous," they said. "But what if they are the only ones who can save us?" When the galaxy trembled, the silence before the next war felt endless. Earth had won its first battle, but Admiral Kane knew it was only the beginning. Across the stars, sensors were detecting something vast, something old moving toward the Sol system. It wasn't the Vorth, it wasn't any known race. It was something deeper, darker, born long before humanity took its first steps. The skies above Earth glowed with activity. The Dark Fleet, silent giants of black steel, hovered beyond the moon. Every ship armed, every system ready, every soldier waiting. The galaxy held its breath. For the first time in history, the humans were not defending. They were preparing to strike first. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the UNS Leviathan Prime, the largest warship ever built by man. Beside him stood Captain Mara Quinn, her eyes fixed on the holoscreen. "Enemy signatures entering outer range," she reported. Kane nodded slowly, his voice calm. "Let them come closer," he said. "I want them to see what they awakened." Moments later, the stars themselves seemed to bend. An armada larger than any ever recorded appeared. Massive black structures shaped like serpents and cities merged together. It was the Zephyrian Swarm, an ancient collective that had devoured hundreds of worlds. They had come for Earth, drawn by the power unleashed during the Vorth War. From the Galactic Council worlds to the outlaw colonies, every race watched the transmissions. Billions of eyes stared as the human fleet stood alone against the approaching darkness. Some prayed, some fled, others simply waited to see who would survive. The first Zephyrian ship opened fire. Energy blasts large enough to melt moons streaked through space. The human defense grid activated instantly. Dozens of orbital shields shimmered blue, absorbing the impact. Then the Dark Fleet moved. The Leviathan Prime fired its main cannon, a beam of pure fusion light. It sliced through the lead Zephyrian vessel like a blade through mist. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from Mars. Human pilots cheered through comm channels, but Admiral Kane's face remained cold. "Don't cheer yet," he said. That was only the first wave. The enemy responded with fury. Thousands of living ships swarmed toward Earth, each one screeching through the void like a nightmare made of metal and bone. Mara gave the command. Deploy Nemesis wings. Dozens of stealth fighters shot forward. Vanishing from sensors, they weaved through enemy lines. Striking weak points, vanishing again. The battle turned into chaos. Flashes of light, fire and silence on the council worlds. Alien leaders argued again. Should we help them, one asked. If Earth falls, they'll come for us next. But fear ruled their hearts. No fleet moved, no help was sent. The galaxy simply watched humanity fight alone. Back in the heart of the battle, Kane's voice thundered through the comms. All units, hold formation. Target their core ship. The Leviathan Prime sensors locked onto a massive energy reading at the center of the swarm. It was the Zephyrian Hive, a colossal ship the size of a continent. Charge the quantum lance, Kane ordered. Engineers worked furiously, systems overloaded. Alarms blared. Power at 90%, someone shouted. Fire, Kane said. The quantum lance fired a beam of light so bright it cut through darkness itself. It hit the hive directly, tearing open its core. But instead of dying, the hive screamed, its energy expanded outward, sending shockwaves that shattered smaller ships and disabled half the human fleet. Mara grabbed onto the console as the bridge shook violently. Shields at 20%, she yelled. Kane stood unshaken, his voice low. Then we finish this the hard way. He opened a secure channel to all ships. This is Admiral Kane, he said, his voice echoing through the static. We are humanity. We are the children of Earth. They came to our home once. They burned our skies, they killed our people. But today, we show them what it means to fight a death worlder. Every gun, every fighter, every soldier, fire everything you've got. The fleet answered with thunder. Missiles streaked across the void. Railguns roared, pulse cannons glowed red. The humans fought like demons, unbroken, relentless, one by one. The Zephyrian ships began to fall. Mara's fighter squadrons tore through their wings, leaving burning trails across the stars. The hive started to crumble, pieces breaking apart. But deep within its shattered core, something still moved, sir. Energy surge detected, the technician shouted. They're going to self-destruct. Kane closed his eyes for a brief second. Then he gave the order. All ships, retreat to the far side of the moon. Now, the fleet pulled back just as the hive exploded. The blast expanded like a new sun, white and endless for a moment. All sensors went blind. When the light faded, the hive was gone. Only debris remained, drifting silently across the void. The Zephyrian swarm had been erased. Earth was safe again. The broadcast spread across the galaxy within hours. Every empire, every race, every ruler watched as the impossible happened twice. First the Vorth, now the Zephyrians. Two galactic powers destroyed by one species. By humans in the Galactic Council chamber, silence ruled. No one dared to speak. They all knew what it meant. Earth was no longer a hidden world. It was a superpower, a force of nature, a warning. On board the Leviathan Prime, Admiral Kane stood beside Mara Quinn. Through the observation window, they saw the stars slowly returning to calm. Mara whispered, "It's over." Kane shook his head. "No," he said quietly. "It's just beginning." He turned toward the glowing Earth far below. Its oceans blue and alive. "They will come again," he said. "Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in our lifetime. But they'll come." Mara smiled faintly. "Then we'll be ready," she said. Kane looked at her and nodded. "Yes, we will." As the dark fleet drifted silently through space, its engines dimmed, the galaxy watched and trembled. For they had seen what happens when Earth is threatened. They had seen the fury of the Death Worlders. And from that day forward, one rule spread across every empire. Every world, every star, never invade Earth. Because they thought invading Earth was easy. Until humanity made the galaxy tremble.